They called him untouchable, not because he couldn't be found, but because nothing could touch his mind. Every move calculated, every breath deliberate, every shadow accounted for before it ever reached him. He lived in a world where control wasn't just a tool, it was the air he breathed. Every mission, every target, every exit was executed with machine-like precision. There were no surprises, no slips, no hesitation. His certainty was a fortress, and inside he was king. But fortresses don't crumble from the outside, they rot from within. It didn't happen in a gunfight or with a close call on a mission. It was quieter than that, smaller, like the first hairline fracture in glass, invisible at a glance, but growing with every passing second. At first, he didn't even notice it, a moment of hesitation, a faint second guess, the kind of thing he'd once mocked in others, but it was there. And once you notice the crack, you can't stop seeing it. He started replaying moments in his head, an exchange of words that felt off, a look in someone's eyes that didn't match their tone, a job that went exactly as planned, yet left him with the gnawing sense that something was wrong. For the first time in his career, he wasn't sure if the ground beneath his feet was solid or if it was just an illusion waiting to collapse. And that's when you knew you had him. Because the moment an unbreakable man starts questioning his own reality, the rest is inevitable. You didn't need to threaten him. You didn't need to touch him. All you had to do was plant the seed. Doubt doesn't kick down doors. It slips through the cracks, hides in the corners, and waits. It's patient. It whispers, it lingers, it festers. And for someone who's built their life on absolute certainty, it's the deadliest poison in the world. He tried to shake it off at first, kept telling himself it was nothing, just fatigue, just the grind catching up with him. But deep down, he knew better. Doubt doesn't feel like exhaustion. It feels like rust on steel, slow, silent, unstoppable. Every move he made, every step he took, he wondered if he'd missed something, if he'd misread someone, if there was a threat just beyond his line of sight. That's the thing about doubt. Once it takes root, it grows in all directions. It turns allies into suspects, silence into threats, shadows into monsters. His instincts, once razor sharp, began to betray him. Every decision was second-guessed, every plan re-examined until nothing felt certain anymore. He was slipping, and he knew it. And you just watched. You didn't need to push. You didn't need to rush. You knew the mind eats itself when it's starving for certainty. You were the architect of his undoing, and he didn't even see the blueprint. No guns, no armies, no loud displays of power. Just the right word, the right pause, the right moment of stillness that made him question the ground he stood on. He began avoiding the places he once ruled, started hesitating in situations where hesitation could kill, but the damage was already done. It wasn't just his skill that was fading, it was his belief in himself. And once a man like that stops believing in his own control, you don't have to fight him. He'll dismantle himself piece by piece. And as his grip on reality loosened, something else began to take shape: your legend. The story started small, whispered in the corners where men like him once traded contracts and secrets. But whispers have a way of traveling. Every retelling made you less like a person and more like a myth, a force that couldn't be touched, couldn't be traced, couldn't even be understood. They said you could break a man without lifting a finger. that you could make someone question the air they breathed, the people they trusted, even their own reflection. And somewhere out there, he was living proof, walking, breathing, unraveling proof, a shadow of the predator he once was, carrying the weight of a question he could never answer. Was it you, or was it his own mind turning against him? That's the cruelest part. The mind doesn't need the truth to collapse. It only needs the suggestion of one. You gave him that suggestion, and now it's all he can think about. You didn't just beat him, you rewrote him. Every step he takes is colored by that moment he realized he might not be in control. Every decision is haunted by the memory of how easily you dismantled the world he thought was solid. He'll try to rebuild, of course. They always do. He'll harden his shell, sharpen his skills, tell himself he's back to who he was, but it won't be the same. Because in the quiet moments when there's nothing to distract him, you'll still be there, not in person, but in thought, like a glitch in his system that no amount of repair can erase. And you've already moved on, not because you're done, but because there's always another unbreakable mind to test, another fortress to infiltrate, another king to dethrone without ever stepping foot on the battlefield. You know that power isn't about crushing someone with force. It's about making sure they never stand tall again. Somewhere out there, another name will be whispered to you, another legend in the making. They'll say this one's different, this one's too smart, too disciplined, too strong to fall. You'll smile because you've heard it before. And you know that the higher they stand, the harder they fall. All it takes is one crack in the glass, one doubt, one whisper, and maybe, just maybe, the next story told in the shadows will be about them, or about you, or both. Because the real power isn't in breaking one mind, it's in knowing you could break any mind. The question is, whose will be next?